Guys, it's Nolan and Jason here with HVAC Webmasters. Today,
Howdy.
going to talk about probably the most important thing you can be doing, in my opinion, organically. The title here today is HVAC Marketing Online with DataPins, the must-have tool.
Absolutely.
So I want to start out by saying what most people do and most people understand about organic optimization. And I remind everybody, I probably say this too much, but it is the big show and it's the one that people miss. So vast majority of people looking for AC heater repairs go to Google,
Right.
80+%. And while those 80+% are there on Google, 70+% click on a non-paid item, you would know that as SEO or search engine optimization. We would just call it organic placement. And I would further just say anything that's not paid to be clicked on or to show up.
Yeah.
Right. So if somebody clicks on it,
Google ads, paid ads in the map listings, LSA, local service ads, Google guaranteed. Those are all the paid.
those are all paid, but only about 25% of people do that.
Right.
Maybe 27%. So if you have your map up high, which is absolutely affected by search engine optimization or quality skilled work, is how I look at it. Professional services like those of HVAC Webmasters, or if you're up in the organic keyword terms under the map doesn't show up, or reputation reviews, all items you can show up for, but probably do not. And then I'd like to say again, we talk about this a lot, people will discount a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
I already have a website. Now
You guys just do Google.
Oh, you just do Google. You mean the big show that makes all the money?
You mean 70% of anything you're ever going to get? Yeah, that's what we
You
do.
mean the whole damn thing? Yeah, that creates the lowest cost and everything. So people say, I already got a website, I already got a Google account. Well, we know you have a Google business profile and we see your website, but it's done so poorly it doesn't show up. Right? And then people say, well, everybody clicks on the paid. They absolutely don't all click on the paid.
I don't even know where people get that idea. When someone says that to me, well, everybody clicks on the ads. I'm like,
do you
ever
ads?
click on the
Yeah.
ads? Well, of course not. I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
Neither is anybody else.
Yeah. So, and then they're like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
And they'll kind of clue in there. But so when people there, then the other thing is, oh, well, the mapping, I'm already up, or I'm already doing all I can, or people will discount it and say, well, those guys are just huge and they're up there, and then, or they pay $10,000 a month, or they do this, or they do that. And there are all these false narratives that are made up to basically justify why someone else is up there and they're not, or they're up there, but everybody clicks on paid, or they don't get anything else because of it, or they've always been big. And then,
or to kind of discount the work that's done on the website.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with a client once that they called to talk about performance, and I was running through everything. And I started talking about performance of their Google business profile and the number of calls they got on it.
Mm-hmm.
And they got hostile. They said, well, you're just trying to take credit. That's been my business profile for long before I ever signed up with you guys. It's got nothing to do with you.
Well, you can show the trending of
And I said, well, let's take a look.
Right.
And I went back and I said, your calls have quadrupled.
Right.
Since we took over the website.
Right.
So yeah, it does have something to do with us. It has everything to do with us.
So if someone wants to, if you as an HVAC company owner want to ignore all this stuff, you can, but it's in your best interest to get educated a little bit and recognize that it's not magic or a mystery or anything else as to how map ranking and organic gets up there in place.
Right.
DataPins helps with it. We're going to talk about it in a second, but I'm trying to dispel some of the ludicrous ridiculousness of, I feel like a pastor or something. Ludicrous ridiculousness of,
you got to get DataPins.
Not the sorry side.
Okay, we're blasphemous today, bro.
All right. So I just, when you have a well done website, it shows up in organic ranking, that being mapping, and which is affected by SEO and your organic keywords and your reputation reviews. A lot of people just think that, oh, I've got a website up, I've got a Google business profile, and then it shows up how and where it should. And one thing I wanted to state, we state all the time, is that people will say, well, they're just up there because they're big, and we'll say, no, they're big because they're up there.
Right.
Yeah. So they're not up there because they're big because they're up there a lot in Pack 3 mapping and organic and reputation reviews on the big show.
Right.
Okay, so now that that's out of the way, that you can say, okay, maybe that is where all the money's coming from. I can tell you
The
that
vast majority of it.
yeah, the vast majority of the money's coming from there, and not only is the vast majority of the money coming from there, the best money's coming from there.
Right.
So it's the lowest acquisition. It's the best lead. It's the best return on investment dollar.
Right.
So you are going to pay something to be up there. You're not going to get up there like you could without the help of professional services, without.
It's not the old days. You can't name your company A1 HVAC and be number one in the phone book.
Yeah, and really a lot of people too still, I don't know if they still have that. I think some people still think, well, that's free.
Yeah.
That I established that Google business profile, and I'm the reason it's up there. Even I don't know how anybody could not see that when you've gone up 400% since you've been with somebody. But it is what it is. It is what it is.
And it's important to understand. I mean, we sort of made this point, but there's only so much you can put on your Google business profile.
Right.
It's relatively brief. You can't add tons of content. You can tell them service categories and stuff like that. But when you link the Google business profile to your website, then Google goes and looks at your website and uses what's there to inform how they view your GDP.
Right, and to expand that, that's all true. To expand that, as they look at your brand and all the digital signaling and all the stuff that we do and other stuff that happens like DataPin signaling,
right,
that determines how often you show up, how much you show up, what you can show up for,
right,
how well you're trusted, your stinking brand, your brand. And so the brand is digital, and if I want a mission to do anything, is to get people and say, you are a digital brand online,
right,
on the biggest show that's ever existed on marketing. And if you choose to participate properly, it is fantastic. It's an absolute wonderful place to be, and people that are up there make money and have their dreams come true. So let's talk about DataPins real quick and how it helps all this stuff. Nolan Walker here for DataPins. You may not know, but I own a software company, and we have a proprietary software called DataPins, DATAPINS. You can search it at datapins.com. This is not white labeled. I actually own this piece of software, and I made it for you. It was made for contractors. You can actually take pictures of jobs, up to 6, make a caption about the material, the brand, the situation, the repairs, and post that back to your individual pages on your website, just like that. It's super simple. Anyone could use it. It also texts and emails your clients, direct links to your reviews, so it helps reputation and reviews, which helps conversion and map placement. The geo-coordinate gets grabbed by DataPins, and Google can tell where you are. So instead of them just seeing reviews, they see all jobs or even estimates that you do. This vastly outperforms just getting reviews. Helps the map show up, helps organic keywords. And remember, those captions that you're putting in there help expand the keywords per page, and it's great regular content. I love it. We made it just for you. It is organic optimization on steroids for both your website, your rankings, and the map placement. Check out DataPins. I think you'll be happy you did. DataPins is a software tool that you can use on your phone or desktop. And I'll give a quick rundown and then talk about the intricacies of what the algorithm, Google algorithm thinks about it.
right,
Google, because they're 90% of search guys. Obviously, our stuff optimizes on Bing and Yahoo and DuckDuckGo and other stuff.
yeah, all of the also ran.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter to talk about, basically. All right, so DataPins, you can take up to 6 photos of a job. You can write a caption and put in the client's cell phone number. I like to say a 12-year-old or an 80-year-old can use this and learn it immediately. And when you put in the cell phone number and hit pen, which takes 90 seconds or less possibly.
Tops, yeah. 90 seconds if you're wordy.
And when you hit that, so let's give an example. Let's say that you just, I always use the same example because I've just memorized it, but you're out doing a job and you say, installed Linux error handler with Linux M30 Wi-Fi thermostat. So we've done this a long time. I'm not often doing installs, but I do want to talk about the excellentness potential of content as it refers to an HVAC company on DataPins captions.
Right.
So
We actually, just a side note, we like HVAC with DataPins
the best.
even better than our other categories, which we love.
Yeah.
But HVAC has so much potential because of brand names and parts and part numbers and stuff like that.
Unbelievable, really.
Yeah.
So now Google, so now you just listed this, you tagged your your AC replacement page and you tag the city that you're in. So you had a few city pages up and you hit pin, and it took almost no time. Your pages within the website were listed in bullet points right there. You wrote, installed Linux Air Handler with Linux M30 Wi-Fi thermostat on your phone, and then you put in the client's cell phone number and you hit pin. It grabbed the geo-coordinate from where your phone was located. Now that's wrapped in schema, and you see a red pin drop, but Google sees the geo-coordinates wrapped in schema that looks like a digital hand raise.
Right.
The client...
There's code that you don't, when you're looking at the website, you see a box. There's code on the back of it that literally says to Google, hey, this is a service check-in.
Right.
This is the location it took place.
Yeah.
And then here's the description and here's a photo of the proceedings.
Yeah, thanks for defining it further, because I don't think people realize how valuable this is, because 9 out of 10 people or more are not going to give you a review. Even though you just texted and possibly emailed them with DataPins like that, they shut off, but most people won't give you. But now Google sees 10 times more service activity in the market you're in. They're like, oh, this guy, Bob, is all over the place.
Yeah. He's got some reviews, and that's great, but he's also got all of this.
Yeah.
Illustrating
Bob,
all the places he works and what he does.
Bob, we saw the 34 reviews you had, but wow, we didn't know you'd done 700 jobs.
Yeah.
And furthermore, it's so nice to know that you work on Linux Air Handlers and M30 Wi-Fi thermostats, because some dude over here just typed this in, and we spidered that information a month ago. And we're so grateful to have it because it's unique and relevant.
And none of your competitors have mentioned that particular part.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
like 2 of them have said Linux, but none of them have been that specific.
Yeah.
And specificity is relevance.
Yeah. And
I just came up with that.
Specificity is relevance.
Yes, buddy.
Sibilance.
And everything in search is relevance. It's how someone goes to Google and puts in a search, and Google, they don't show you the best business. They show you the most relevant page based on a whole bunch of factors. And specificity gives you relevance. If you've got that brand and that part and everything, you're more specific.
But we've been doing this for 3 generations, and my papaw worked his ass off. You know, you messing with my family, Jason? You know that, but yeah.
Google doesn't care. It's
Google
not that
doesn't
I
care.
don't care. It's that Google doesn't care.
I mean, but we basically get people talking to us like they're pleading with us almost like, please let the universe know that we're the best HVAC company there is.
It's like, this is how you let it know.
Right.
It's like you get reviews and you do pins.
Right.
That's it.
And you hire great professional services like HVAC Webmasters to help you with it. But so now Google says, oh, thank you, Bob. Thank you for letting us know this. This is the best content that we've really been seeing here. You had a 400-word page of content about AC repair written by HVAC Webmasters that we thought was fabulous, but there's 400 other HVAC contractors here. And frankly, you didn't have much activity before.
Yeah.
You let a website sit there, you had 37 reviews, and other people had 100 reviews and worked on their stuff a little more. You really seemed kind of negligent on your digital brand, Bob.
Yeah. You weren't telling us that you wanted to show up.
Right. You weren't, it'd be the equivalent of just, showing up to a dinner party, and you haven't showered, shaved, or changed your clothes in 3 days. And you're like, what? Y'all don't want to talk to me too?
Yeah.
And it's like, but people throw their crud out there and they're like, here's all my dirty crud. But I mean, people think I've got a website, I've got all this stuff. They should know that Papaw got it going and we're the best there is.
I like the way my website looks.
I like it.
My website looks great. I'm sure it does.
Right.
Website looks great is subjective, and Google only cares about that. Google only cares how your website looks insofar as people let them know that they like looking at it.
True.
So I don't know if that makes sense.
It does. Bounce rate. If someone hates your website.
Bounce rate and user experience. If a lot of users go to your site and stay there,
click around, and
Google says, oh, people must like that site, whether it's content or how it looks or
right.
whatever. They don't care.
Yeah.
They just care that people are spending time there. So you may think you have the best looking website ever to exist, but if you don't do all this other stuff, it doesn't matter.
So they now see the digital hand raise. You only had 37 reviews on Google, but now you have 500 or so pins.
Right.
The 400 word page that was coded well, designed well, written well, saturated with proper content well, about AC repair is really nice, but it's not enough to move the needle.
Yeah, not anymore.
Just like it wasn't enough for you to build a website and get a Google business profile, and it's not magical or mystery as to why everybody else beats you. So now they go to the 400 word page. You've done 100 pins over the course of a year or so to just this one page. You have another 200 or 300 around the site or whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is.
And now you did about 10 words caption per pin. And so you're going to see a little map, a couple of photos, and a little caption you wrote, and double stacked in sets of 10. Google's going to spider it on the page, and now you moved nicely in a technical manner with unique custom content to expand the quality of this general content about AC repair to all this fabulous extra stuff that they never even had in the market. And now you have 1,400 words, and you went from, say, 10 words on the page that could optimize in the top 10 to 250.
Yeah, and what happens for every one of those pins is you've got a page that relates to HVAC services and relates to your business brand, and the pages relating those things to AC repair, and then every pin you do relates the location and the specific activity to AC repair. Right. And your business and HVAC as a category. That's that whole entity thing we've talked about before. So every time you drop a pin, you are expanding the number of entities or terms that your business gets related to.
Right. And people just don't give any content to Google. All what he said is called SEO.
Yeah.
Search engine optimization, digital signaling for your brand done properly, without slapping up some doggedy website and trying to get links out of India or whatever other crud you can do to artificially inflate it and to trick Google. A lot of people think that search engine optimization is tricking the search engines. It's just simply them, the algorithm spidering your signaling and content that's coming in from your brand.
Yeah,
all across the web.
It's kind of at one time it kind of was gaming the system, gaming the search engine.
Yeah.
But these days it's so sophisticated that it's mostly just providing the search engine with what it wants, working with it. Because if you try to trick it, every time you try to trick it, they close that loophole. They find out. They figure out that a lot of people are doing it, and then they close it.
They never wanted it to be tricked. It's just that they couldn't help it for a little while. Hey there guys, Nolan Walker here for HVAC Webmasters. Glad you're listening to the podcast, but I'd like you to become a client. We're a digital marketing agency that have done this for 12 years. I don't think there's anybody better than us at this point in time. We will help you with your design, your code, your content, showing up as high as we can on Google ranking, your organic ranking, your map ranking, your reputation, your reviews. Our digital marketing agency will help you be the best possible online. We can help you with all of it, even paid. We even have a software company called DataPins that's proprietary. We made it for you guys. You can take 90 seconds and do a pin on each job. We call them data pins, and it'll grab the geo-coordinate where you're located. It looks like a little red pin drop, but to Google it looks like a digital hand raise. This helps them see where you're working. So if someone doesn't give you a review, they've got this with photos of the job that count as unique content and a caption. Let's say it's Linux air handler replacement with Linux M30 Wi-Fi thermostat. This is additional content that's literally going to drop on the individual service and city pages on the website and expand your keyword search ability. It's crazy how cool DataPins is combined with the SEO and digital marketing agency services of HVACwebmasters.com. Guys, check us out. We'd love to hear from you. People ask me all the time, they'll say, well, can't you just work on my website? And I'm like, and I'll say, I'll give you an analogy. How about somebody calls you out to replace their 25-year-old HVAC system? It's completely trashed out. Got a mercury
held together with duct tape.
Yep, it's out there. It's on its last leg, and they're like, "By God, I told you to fix it. I'm not changing out the equipment. Are you out of your mind? Just fix it." I'm tired of people coming out here telling me that I got to replace that HVAC system to get my air to blow cold.
Just wrap it in Velcro and it's got to be done.
Do what I told you to do. Like if I told somebody that in HVAC, they would leave and
They'd
go,
laugh in your face.
Screw you. But for some reason, someone will come and bring a website in that's horrific.
Yeah.
Doesn't have any content. It's not optimized well. It doesn't currently work at all. It has no chance of currently working at all. It's got an old code base. It was a poor quality template that's 7 years old.
Yeah.
And then they
bad
say
code, missing really fundamental stuff like title tags.
Yeah, and they said, well, just here's my website. I love it like a child, and I like
made it myself. Sometimes that's the worst.
I made it myself. Oh, my daughter made it.
My daughter made it, or I made it, and it's like, okay, now I got to tell this guy, well, you suck.
the website's no good. I have said that before, and I'm like, oh,
sorry.
I'm not.
Well, I made it. I mean, I've done it too. I made that.
Not trying to judge you or your families, But anyway, people will say that, and so when you go to somebody, and you're like, well, other people said it could work. I was like, but you've never had anything work online before, and you hate all SEOs.
Yeah, but you called us for a reason.
Yeah, so we'll end up getting. Well, of course it has to be redone completely and fixed. Now you can add tools like DataPins and make things a little more better, but it's not gonna function properly because remember Google's grading every stinking little digital detail, including the design and the code base and how old it is and how well it's done.
DataPins is meant to be a fantastic addition to a proper effort. DataPins is taking a Shelby Cobra and putting the blower on it, not taking a barely running Volkswagen and putting a blower on it.
A Yugo or something is what most people have, right? Or a Pinto or something, just something worse.
Pinto with a blower on it. Turn it on, explodes.
Yeah. But yeah, so, and another thing that I want to illustrate on this, so when you add this level of content, Google did not know that you worked on Linux. They certainly didn't know you worked on an air blower or M30 Wi-Fi thermostat, and you've told them you've expanded keywords. You might have even had a Linux page, but it can't sit there stagnant and never move again. They don't feel comfortable showing it. You're raising your hand saying, I'm doing this stuff over and over again, and they're constantly feeling more comfortable, and you're vastly increasing the amount of keywords. Some of these HVAC guys will show up for thousands and thousands and thousands of keywords, so they're just crazy. And yes, you'll get a call. Will you get a lot of calls off of an M30 Wi-Fi thermostat? No, but you guys do like hundreds and hundreds of weird little things.
Yeah, you're going to have 200 or 300 little parts that you mentioned.
And that equals regular call volume.
Right.
Much less your primary keyword terms, by the way. So all this stuff supports it on top of each other as it goes. And if somebody listened to this all the way through, I think they understand it better than 99.9% of people out there. Yeah. It's people not understanding this drives me a little crazy. But we have
clients that sign up with us and they use it, and I talk with them every few months, and they ask me to explain again how it works on a regular basis.
So
I mean, I like them because they want to know, they want to learn.
Right.
But it's and I get it. It's not easy to wrap your head around. And they'll be using it. It's not like the people that are refusing to use it or anything. They'll be using it, but they'll ask, "Can I do anything better?" And I'll look at their pins and say, "Okay, let's try this," and I'll go through the whole thing and explain how it all works again.
I'll share something that we normally don't talk about out to clients. That's more of an internal office thing, but most people so we'll get great clients that are fabulously successful. In fact, I signed up somebody last night on the way home. I pulled over and talked to a client, and they got another site set up, another business, because they're doing so fabulously well with the current one that they've had with us for 3 or 4 years.
Oh, cool.
But that guy gets it fully. But most people, even when they're a client and go with the best and know that they need to do this, they won't fully understand all of it and get proper credibility from where it's coming from. Like the guy that had a 400% increase in phone call volume from his GBP, his Google Business Profile. They won't get proper credit for it, but they're smart enough to know that great things began to happen with money when they hooked up the relationship with us.
Right.
And that's about the most we can hope for from most clients. Yeah. But it is
sad, but I mean, when they recognize that, at least
I'm okay with
good.
that. I'm okay with that. But my hope for everybody is that they fully get that they're a digital brand and to go for it, because it'll make them wealthy, or at least the ability to become wealthy, if they'll figure this stuff out. It's like, okay, yeah, I get all this fabulous stuff done, and I show up in the Pack 3 mapping for tons of keywords because of this. I did this, and then that happened. This, then that.
Right.
And we are the this that then happens.
And made that.
So it's professional services and software like DataPins gets applied through digital branded effort and creates sales, phone calls, and income for the client.
Right.
And
it's quite simple, actually, but it's amazing how many people don't get it.
It is, but it's probably tough to get it all. I mean,
Yeah.
It's just tough to get it all.
Like I said, I never mind when they call and they want to hear it again.
Right.
Because they're trying to learn.
I wish that it was easy as selling like a double truck ad. I think that's what they call them in the yellow pages.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to pay for the big one and get both sides of the deal. Or I remember buying an ad one time when I was at home security. And they're like, oh, you don't want the gutter. I was like, what's the gutter? That's like, you open the big book and then it's the crease, so, if you're in the gutter, like that ad is about $150 less per month, but, people won't see it as well in the gutter.
Yeah.
And then and I'm like, hey, you want a double truck display? And I was like, or your triple truck? They had all these words for it, but it was pretty cut and dry. It's like, okay, that little box one is this
I'm
much.
gonna get this much
the
space,
double box,
and I can
the triple
put this in
box,
it. Yeah.
a third of a page, a half a page, a double column, a double truck, a whole page ad. You're like, oh my God, he paid for a whole page ad, and people would go throw their money down, they'd see it. And
Yeah.
like,
Then they'd get the yellow pages at their business or house, and they'd see their own ad.
And then they'd go to their friend's house and they'd open it up and they'd look at it.
Yeah.
There it is. Or they get a Valpak and they're like, there it is.
Yeah. Marketing advertising used to be easier.
Yeah. It was. So I got to give them
flat out. It was simpler. So
it was
I
simpler.
get why people get confused.
It was simpler. I do get why. I just wish that everybody, this is the sort of stuff they should teach in school at this point. All right. I don't know. I don't have much. I mean, we can't add any more to that. Hardly as good. If I had to say anything else, I just that you are a digital brand. Google tracks your signals.
And DataPins is an absolutely incredible. It's an incredible opportunity for anybody using it, but even more so for HVAC. We love HVAC on
It
DataPins.
tracks signals, your geo-coordinates, your digital hand raises. It helps get reputation reviews. It helps the GBP pop up, your map, because they're reading everywhere you're going. It's validating your service area. It's adding individual content and validation to individual pages in the website. The organic explodes.
Every little pin hits SEO in multiple directions. Every single one.
Every single time. So someone now that doesn't leave a review that irritated you, like she said she's going to leave a review, you get digital benefit from them no matter what.
Yeah.
You get some unique photos, kind of unique content, you got a unique caption, you got a digital hand raise, validation work. You get benefit every time you pin, and it comes at Google legitimate SEO in a way that they typically don't get.
Yeah.
That they've never even seen before. It expands content in ways that they haven't ever seen. And I forgot to say that a lot of our clients would outrank the manufacturers.
Oh yeah, frequently.
Yeah.
We have a client, one of our favorite HVAC clients. He goes in, and part of his process for his techs is after they finish the job, they go back to their car and they're on a tablet, and they have a system they use where they put in a very detailed description of everything they did for like billing purposes and everything.
Right.
And he called me one day and goes, well, I've got these guys write like a paragraph.
Right.
And I go, can I just put that in? And it's like, and he goes, yeah. I said, give me an example. And he read one off. And I'm like, yeah, do it. And he copied, and he has the guys, they finish that write-up, and then they do their pin, and they copy and paste that in.
Yeah.
So he adds like 50 or 60 words with every pin.
that was a snippet. The replace Linux, AC Linux air handler replaced with in M30 Wi-Fi thermostat. That was a snippet of one of his. That I read along. Yeah, it wasn't even the whole thing. I just couldn't memorize it all.
Yeah,
It was like-
yeah, you didn't have those long descriptions.
Yeah. Anyway, DataPins is fabulous, guys. You should absolutely use it. And if you have any questions, we're grateful to hear from you and grateful to speak with you. Love to be of service for either HVAC Webmasters or DataPins or both. Please like and subscribe. And give us a call when you're ready. We'd love to hear from you. We'll see you.
Take it easy.